colleague, even simple words like, okay, let's make a skill tree. Me as a gamer, what is a skill tree? Tech tree, something. It's broadly defined. For academic, pedagogical expert, it's a narrowly defined exact term. So the cooperation between different professions is, as always, difficult. So what I think I already talked about it. Yep. So what I am planning to do is how do I integrate those two professions? And I'm a software engineer. I like to not talk to people. How do I minimize the talking part? So we have on one side creative design, on the other side the learning objective. So how do I keep those separated until the time I really need to get them together? That's my part. So, as already established, I'm working on the knowledge spaces. This is a really simple knowledge space. We have K0, or knowledge 0, is the root. I know nothing. And then I have prerequisites to, I can learn K1, I can learn K3, whatever. And as soon as I learned K1, I am able to learn K2. So that's the basic premise of it. Let's keep it simple. What I want to, from both professions is to not talk with each other. I want the educator to make a knowledge space. He can do that. I want the narrator to make a storyline. Here, a simple 3-act structure to keep it visual. And then the last part I want is they now talk to each other and say, okay, what should in the exposition be learned? So everything I have to do is, in the exposition, I want that the learner has learned K2. Okay, now the automation starts. I find everything just marked. I want to make sub-knowledge spaces. So I start with the exposition, what should be learned, and I traverse back all prerequisites until the root. I go on with challenges. Here's the little funny part, I want distinct sub-knowledge spaces. So everything already taken, I don't consider anymore. So I have 3 acts and 3 knowledge spaces. One especially small. Now all I want to do is to get the leaves already in green and the roots in red. So I have a giant challenge knowledge space with a leaf and a root being the same node. Already, what I want to do next is create new edges from one leaf to the next root and start a, where is it? There is it. Transitive reduction. Transitive reduction is I remove edges, but the transitivity is still remained, and I end up with a knowledge space coherent to the storyline. So, as I told you, I took an extremely simple example. When taking extremely simple storylines and knowledge spaces, everything can be done manually. I could have done this manually. In more complex ones, this is a tricky situation. So with this method, I ensure that we don't have to talk in each and every step and say, okay, is this real, is this right? I can say, okay, hey, we go for our profession, then we merge, and then we together and discuss what a game designer in more days has to do. How fast am I? Oh, I'm really fast. Okay, last step is I'm creating triggers. So I'm saying, okay, cool. In exposition, I should have learned K2. So I create a trigger. The moment I learned K2, I go to the transition in the story graph. So here I can hard-code request, cutscene, whatever you want to do to start the transition from the exposition to the challenges. And that's basically it. That's an example of a one step more complex knowledge space, still overseeable, because big knowledge spaces wouldn't fit on there. And what I made is a 5x structure, transforming from this to this, and you can get these snake-like storyline with, yeah, let's say, side quests available. We have a problem. As you see, as soon as I'm taking two simple knowledge spaces or two simple storylines, or they're just not in balance, I'm creating a linear knowledge space. So I started with, I like adaptive games. I can go back here. Yep. How am I supposed to get adaptive now? That's the dilemma. That's the crafting of both, especially of the knowledge space. Crafting this knowledge space should be complex enough in relation to the storyline, so there is still complexity left to adapt to the learner, but still going current to the storyline. What I'm now planning to do is current research, currently implemented, so work in progress and implementation, is you saw I have only storylines, classical 5x structure. Modern games like more branching or modular storylines. So the current idea is if I have, oh, cool, there's nothing written on it, cool. The top one is the story graph. When looking at it in retrospective, so got it. I don't care how complex the story graph was. The player did it now linear, because he didn't go left, he didn't go right. In the end, he went a linear way, like up, down, right. Now it's linear. So my plan is to delay, yeah, it's already in there, to delay parts of the algorithm to the exact moment when the decision is made. And then I can still manipulate on runtime the knowledge space. There are a few challenges to tackle for the design phase, but that's, I planned to talk longer than this and wanted to say it for another talk. And now my problem is I was very too fast. But it is actually getting implemented. The what I have done is already implemented. It's work in progress if the more complex stuff is working. The website, Serious Games für die Berufsbildung for vocational training, is, I think, only in German, but we can check if Google translates it's still understanding. That's basically it. I planned to do more, and I think I missed something at the start. So start questions, or we just get a cup of coffee and you talk direct to me. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Wolfgang. We have plenty of time.
Yeah, I was pretty fast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've done some research with choose your own adventure type formats for personalising learning. I'm still quite early to it, so it might be a basic question. But the structure of the branching, of the choices that you can make within the system affect the characteristics of your experience. As in, something that branches a lot will play multiple times with very different experiences each time, whereas something that's linear, broadly linear, you'll just play the once. So I wondered if your design can incorporate some of these structural characteristics for learning into the sort of automation.
I'm still trying to get if I really got you right. So the thing is that trying to repeat the question, that if the modular, let's say, circular structure story parts occur, if this is possible in my system, or no?
It's more just if the nature of learning is that you want somebody to repeat it many times and have a subtly different experience each time, that is part of the design of that.
That's part of the...
So does your system allow me to say I want them to play it multiple times and have a different experience, or does it kind of just base it all on the knowledge is involved?
It's the intention is exactly that. The intention is that I have multiple tasks and quests and challenges in one of these nodes. So let's just say K2 is addition. So there are different kinds of quests, of challenges the player can face, and every time he faces it, I'm updating the knowledge space and trying to predict, is he competent in it? Has he mastered it? And the moment I realize, okay, he's competent in it, I say, okay, now he can go on. So the repetition is part of learning K2, let's say. So, and that's the moment he's traversing to K3, and in this example, triggering the transition of the story.
And that happens in runtime?
Yeah.
Yes. During runtime.
Nice.
So, by the way, so you presented something about cybersecurity, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah? So the game
is
also
about it.
Okay, backup, so that's cool.
No, I just went over it.
Too fast.
One of the slides I wanted to bring.
So the project Wolfgang referenced at one of the last slides with this project about vocational training, and here we have two use cases, two games. Yeah, one is about service game, corrugated service game in 3D. And the second one, that's what Wolfgang was talking about, and that's about IT security. So what we did here, we asked subject matter experts, and they provided us all the content of
the left side. That's basically
the structure, the dependencies of the order. So what are the logic? What is the logical order for the different topics, and so on and so on. And this was the basis for this knowledge space. Yeah, and then this is the magic part. Yeah, and somehow the interesting part, how to automatically adapt it. Yeah, during runtime according to the user input.
That's right. The challenges would be branching storylines, but in the end you can abstract every storyline into a new.
Question.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, it seems like this works with a game with a beginning and an end, right? But there are quite a lot of games that comes with an open-ended ending, whereby it doesn't really matter which steps that you are choosing, like in the middle way. So does this work well with games that literally have open-ended endings, which it doesn't really matter which route is the actual right or actual wrong?
So in the part of many branching options, there's still the ongoing difficulties I have, but the intention is that the game is one of the, we have a beginning, we have an ending, because of the natural of I want him to start learning and finish learning. So the intention is, as it's an educational game, I want him to at some point saying, hey, you finished the game, you learned everything I have to teach you. So that's the intention behind it. So the natural, these open ending and stuff, that's not really considered currently this part. We are focusing on the, let's say, of traditional storyline structures, 3, 5, and so on. Yeah, does it answer it?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, some more questions? Yeah?
So if I understand correctly, your game basically adapts as you play. So what happens if I pick the same things or the same answers? Does the game shift slightly, or is it the same outcome at the end?
That's, let's say I call it the quantity problem. Let's assume we're currently learning stuff about some social engineering. Let's see, yeah. It is possible that in my current learning stage, I could be facing problems in the part of social engineering, but also of, let's say, bioscanner. And if we say, okay, you got social engineering problem and have to solve it, and you don't solve it. So my system detects, oh, you still need more practice. Now what could be is that I only have one task for knowledge engineering. So you're faced with a same level, the same challenge again. And if you continue to answer it wrong, my system will continue to say you still not proficient in it. So if you still not learned it, how about you try it again? Yeah, and that's the biggest weakness in this form, because I need a bit of quantity of levels of challenges. So a gamer who needs time to learn is not always faced with the same challenge, so he has some variety in it. So this is some kind of, I have to design multiple levels. A quick learner will only see one of it, because this means, oh, he can it, I can go on. A slower learner will maybe see some challenges more times, but that's like in school, right? So I repeated one of my one whole year, so I had to do it all again, the same thing.
Sorry, another question. So would your challenges have only one right answer, or is the person able
Now
to
I'm using a scalar value between 0 and 1, and some answers say, okay, that's the absolute right answer, I give you maximum points. Some answers are gray zone, and the author, the designer, has to decide how much weight do I give each answer. The game I'm developing is an adventure game, more point-and-click, dialogue heavy. So you have in dialogues, when you're speaking to other people, you have multiple options, and some of the options are okay-ish. So I respect your answer, but maybe we are still here. Some answers are, okay, I think you got it. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. No more questions.
Coffee time.
So thanks a lot.